This place is a messed up place. And I'm not talking about this place. I'm talking about every place in the United States and in the globe. Everywhere in the world is a messed up place. It's not good. It's all evil. You don't need anything, but the only thing that you need, or the only thing that you should want, is someone that's going to present themselves to you. All right, here it is, guys. Here it is. This is the list. I'm not on it. It's a list. There's a guy named Jesus.
Huh?
Shh, be quiet. That's not 50, sweetie. This is Linda's list. That's the order of it right there.
That's not cool. Give me back one.
Got all the... Hello, my name's Cole Spivey, and I studied at the Actors Studio and at the New School University Actor Studio Drama School in New York City from 2001 to 2002. This is a book about Brando. He was good, and so was Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman was murdered. The reason why? I lived in Long Beach, California, and there are corrupt cops there. I know for sure. But the most corrupt cops on this planet are in Los Angeles. Now, if we look in the past, not too far, there was a movie that was up for many awards called LA Confidential. I'm watching a thing on Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman was murdered. You know what the key is? That the cops murdered him? The crooked cops? The dog. The German Shepherd. Right? Because I'm writing Shepherds of Alaska, and it's about corrupt cops. I know for a fact that the cops are corrupt. All the way from Long Beach to Hollywood. And this guy right here, Gene Hackman, was studying the police. He studied the police from French Connection, probably to the moment of his death. And when he died, he was probably actively studying police corruption. And when he found out about current police corruption, probably dealing with methamphetamines and probably dealing with harder drugs. If you looked at him, he didn't look good. Gene Hackman didn't. They had to kill his dog first. They had to poison his dog first in order to get to Gene Hackman. This will be a raw footage upload. They had to kill his dog first. Then they had to poison his wife and poison Gene Hackman to cover up the crime of drug smuggling in our country. The bank, HSBC, had $1 billion. This is legal tendency. It's also called legal currency or legal tender. Okay? It was over money and drugs. I promise you. Raw footage upload. Good night. All right, guys, and congratulations to Sean Baker, a peer of mine at the New School University, also known as the New School of Social Research. I went 2001 and 2002, and I emphasized in acting for the theater and film with the Actors Studio Drama School, and our dean was a famous guy named James Lipton, but nobody really knows who he is anymore. But they know who Sean Baker is. Sean Baker studied intensive editing, or actually it was called non-linear editing at the New School, but he was an NYU grad too. We are about to audition for theater. So that's why my voice is kind of weird, because I'm changing. My body is changing and getting ready for theater. And I've been preparing with the Shakespeare monologue, my favorite one, which is Hamlet, Act 4, Scene 4, which is when Hamlet decides to kill Claudius, because Claudius was a bully. Now, in order to do this, we have to explore something. They have released, there it is, you found it. They're pretty good. They've been around for 49 years, okay? They were doing stuff in 1977. When I was 4 years old. They did Mad Dog Blues in 1977 at a restaurant. The theater was homeless at that point. And they started off at Joe's Garage and went to a restaurant called The Back Door. And Johnny Simons was behind this theater production of Mad Dog Blues that was written by a new playwright at that time called Sam Shepard. His work made it all the way from New York to Fort Worth, Texas. Now, Fort Worth, Texas is famous. It housed the first concert, the first live concert of the band. That was the band that backed up Bob Dylan. There were two people that showed up, probably in the same area that Hip Pocket performed. No, it was further down the road. But it was probably the same city. It was Fort Worth, and two people showed up and they got in a fight. The band went off to Piggly Wiggly and stole a bunch of bologna and then left. It's the famous thing about Fort Worth. Let's look. The Fort Worth is pretty famous. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid hung out there in Etta's place. She was a sex worker that had her own brothel and would house Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Johnny used to get mad at me for contacting them all the time. I've done 15 plays at Hip Pocket from 1993-ish summer, maybe 1994. 1994 summer, all the way to 2000 and like maybe 7-ish, around there. My last show that I did was Mount Analog, which there was a puppeteer, I believe his name was Robert, and he went to New York. He was famous. He died of something that I don't believe in. I'm Christian Science. It's one of my spiritual focuses is in Christian Science, Eddie Baker Mary, and I'm also Messianic Jew, which means I practice some Judaism with Christian belief. And I'm also a big believer in the Baptist because I don't drink. I only drink grape juice and Red Bull. But I try not to mix it because Red Bull's bad too. But I'm getting better about my Red Bull. But regardless, what went on was that Hip Pocket celebrated their 49th year. So they've been doing all this stuff. And Deanne Simons, who was the costumer, she was basically the wife of one of the creators of the theater, who's a mime, meaning he practices mime, and worked with some of Marcel Marceau's distant people. So did I. They do acting. All right. An actor never uses words, they use music. But they turn the music into words. That's what Marlon Brando did. He only used music. They only use music. There they are right here. You can find them right there. If you want them right there. Now, if I go by Ash Cole, then that's me. But I probably will go by my real name. And they have airplanes that fly overhead that have missiles on them. And Johnny Simons always says, "Thank God for George Bush." That's what he says when he's out there. "Thank you, God, for George Bush. We're all so happy." I don't know what he's saying now, but that's what he used to say. "Thank you, God, for George Bush." And he'd look right over at me. I may be too late. I'm looking. Already signed up? Change my sign up. Well, I don't like this contact stuff. Now, I know the Lamberts. Yeah, well, I know Connie Lambert. Woo, looks like we found something. This is a data organization. What is that? Oh, that was to try to get some money right there. It's called an ad. Create a sign up. Oh, I almost did this for the Scottish play. And Trish was so happy. Guys, we're going to sign up. We're going for it. Back to the theater. You always want to take a couple of steps back before you start to run forward. Here we go. And we're not going to say passed off as a colored person. We going to say the word, baby. And it starts with an N. And Lipton is going to rotate in his grave. We're almost there. That's what we need. Guys, when you fell, always scroll. Look at the scroll right here. Do you see the scroll? That's called a scroll bar. Scroll down. When you fell, always scroll first. Got it. Cole Spivey is an effing nut. Remember that. And he's going to audition for Mad Dog Blues, written by the most insane and genius mad writer, Sam Shepard. Yep. He is the craziest writer that's ever been on this planet. I just got it. Thanks for signing up, Cole. We did it, guys. We're in. I just got a sign up, genius. You got a 1 month Hulu with ads for free. I love Hulu. Hulu is the best thing. I saw this thing on Hulu. I just want to talk about Hulu for a minute. I love the theater. This is for live theater. Stage, they call it the theater. It's a Johnny Simons theater. Now, it used to be Johnny and Diane Simons, but Deanne has passed away. And I'm going to dedicate my audition to Deanne Simons. Now, Deanne was the most calm costumer. And I've listened, when it comes to people that costume actors, I'm talking about dressers and people that do costume, okay? She was the most calm and peaceful. Barbara from UNT, I feared her. We all feared her. She would poke you with a needle if you didn't listen. Meaning she would go over and measure. Oh, got you. Now, Deanne never did that to me. I never got poked with a needle. She was great. She was a great costumer. I don't know what any of this is. This is a sign up. It was called Reprisal. It was on Hulu. But I'm not going to go back to Hulu right now. I'm doing Apple TV. But right now, we're getting involved in the theater. We're going to start reading about Sam Shepard and Peter Brook and a guy named Joe Chaikin. Especially Joe Chaikin. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? It's like that. So before we get back to shepherds of Alaska, we are always wanting to save our work. We always want a cloud, and we always want it to go somewhere. Now, they wrote clouds probably around the time of when they wrote birds. Aristophanes was behind it, and it was in 414 BCE. CE stands for the Common Era. BC just stands for before Christ, because this is the year of the Lord. Now, when they wrote clouds, they were writing about what we're doing right here. The Greeks wrote about the future. Look at that right there. It's never happened before. That was Apple telling me you're good. You're right. Okay, because that's never happened before. With the arrow went, whoosh. So they were communicating with me because they know who I am. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to find a transition. So look at the arrow. Right? Now watch. Arrow down. You see? Arrow down. And show you like that. That's a transition, but it's actually a cut. Is a cut a transition? Yes and no. It is what is in the middle of the French beat. A French beat is in theater. So what is a French beat? This guy hanging out with a cigarette, talking to a mime? Kind of. A French beat, they're all cuts now. A French beat, not necessarily. Now watch this. The reason why is because I did it on my phone, and then I sent it over. Now watch this. We're going 0, and we're going to mimic a cut. We can act within the editor. That'll apply to all. And we can check it here. Very good. Now look, we simply go this way, which is up to where it says my movie, and we know what we're going to call it because I have it memorized. It's on my heart. Watch this. What's it going to be? Is it going to be memory or creativity? Because you can't have both. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write these words, and you're going to listen to my fingers type. These people used to call my mom at American Airlines. My mom worked for American Airlines for 25 years. When she worked for American Airlines, she worked for a place called Advantage, right by Fall, by the airport, for over 25 years, about 20 years. Well, I would say in that ballpark, almost 3 decades. Now, they would say, "We can hear you type," to my mom. And then she'd go, "I don't understand what you mean." These people would call her. They were dirty cops. My mom has been working with dirty cops. My mom did a calendar for cops, for police officers, where she wore a bikini and held an M16 so they wouldn't kill her family. Now watch this right here. We are going to say the following words, okay? Now listen, this is true. They have a calendar. My mom was a model. She wore a bikini, a camouflage bikini. She was a model. She also was a French maid in a play at TCJC back whenever, she was hanging out with my dad. My dad was a musician. My dad used to smoke pot. He quit all that. I'm going to put some words down here, okay? Here are the words. I auditioned. Okay. I set up my audition at Hip Pocket Theater for a great and exciting, a little bit different, exciting play. And that's a Sam Shepard play by Shepard. It's all going to be connected. Now remember, when I first started, I misspelled Shepard. I spelled it like that. But what I found out was that's correct. Because Shep hides not only from the cops, but from everybody. The cops do too. They've been doing it since the time they wrote the clouds, like 400 BCE, before Common Era and before Christ. This word is very old. It's an English word. It means 2 things. It means a shepherd, which is a person that goes out into a field and takes care of a flock of sheep with a staff. It also means a person's name, which they misspelled on their YouTube. They spelt it differently. They used an H and an E, which is like a shepherd that holds a staff. Now, on the bottom part of this right here, we're going to put the time, which is 2043. So 2043. Why do old people say 20? Because they're too old. Right. How old was Laurence Olivier when he was acting? He acted in his 70s. How old was Marcel Marceau when he was doing acrobat feats in mime? Which is hard to do. Some of it was. He was in his 70s. How old was Paul Newman before he died and he was still acting? He was in his 70s, right? You can still act until you die. Moliere did it. Now watch this right here. You're never too old to act. You cannot be too old to... Christopher Reeves did it when he could only move his head. He couldn't even move his neck. And he could still act. As long as you are breathing, then you can act. I promise you this is true. Now, we're going to let it print. Well, it's actually called an export. But I'm using weird language. We're going to dabble in this. And then we're going to write a chapter, I believe 59. It could be 60. It could be 60, chapter 60. Regardless, Shep Dwight East, is going to meet Lady Shelby. She's going to recognize him from the television, because he got on television because of the media. Let me explain something. He's going to explain to Lady Shelby two different things. He's going to talk about this memory book that was given to him by Matthew Dill, his older brother in the police force. Shepard Dwight East is no longer a police officer. He was accused by his own government and his own state as being a murderer. So he escapes to Alaska with his dog Buster, who's a German Shepherd, and a wagon wheel trailer thing pulled by an interceptor that's changed into an Explorer. Have you ever heard of a Ford Explorer? They look like cop cruisers. I call the SUV a cruiser, forgive me. But I call the SUV an actual cruiser. That'll be argued in English classes at NYU, okay? There's reasons why. You won't be alive by the time they argue, but they'll argue, because The Shepherds of Alaska is a book. The real title of Shepherds of Alaska is in 3 folds. It's called Rib, parentheses, or Dog Night Out, close parentheses, dash, Shepherds of Alaska. And we're going to take a break so we can do a theater play. I go out in life and I get my knowledge, and then it goes in here. We're going to do something completely different, and we're going to do theater. I don't know how Margaret Mitchell wrote Gone with the Wind, but I know that Eraserhead was done in 5 years. And it was a simple movie that doesn't take that long to watch at all. You can watch Eraserhead, and time just goes right by. It's just like watching a little clip compared to how long we live. It does not take you 5 years to watch Eraserhead, but it did take me 6 years to read The Stand because I kept putting it down. We don't know when Rib or Dog Night Out, The Shepherds of Alaska, Rib, parentheses, or Dog Night Out, close parentheses, dash, The Shepherds of Alaska, or Shepherds of Alaska will be finished. It may not ever be finished. David Lynch once said, there is no real ending. Sometimes we don't have an ending. My creative writing teacher believed there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. But sometimes we never have an ending. So we're going to work on it. We're going to find out if it's chapter 59 or if it's chapter 60. Because listen, this right here will not save you in the theater. You are not an actor because you have a memory. You are an actor because of the opposite. You are an actor because you struggle with memory. You are an actor because of creativity, which is the antithesis And the real word is antithesis, because I work with a demon every day. And the real word is antithesis. Shakespeare used it. To be or not to be. That's an antithesis. And this book it helps you, but it does not help you act. Your memory is not why you're an actor. But every night you have to go in the closet. You have to lay down in the closet. That's your war room as an actor. And you have to put those lines inside your head so that you never forget them for the rest of your life. All right, here they are. This is a book about Sam Shepard. It's called American Dreams, Imagination of Sam Shepard. This cannot be found. It's out of print. It's about Sam Shepard. This is Motel Chronicles, which is about Sam Shepard. This is The Unseen Hand and Other Plays, which we're going to look at this one right here. If we go through this and we look, it's right there on page 255. You see it? Right? It's got music. He was a musician. He's a drummer for a rock band. It's right there. It's an adventure show. It's a 2-act adventure show. I've only read Act 1, but I've been reading it. It's time to jump into Act 2. I gotta get some bifocals so I can be cool. You ever seen Pink Floyd's The Wall? Do you remember? Hey, you!
Shut up.
Yes, you! Stand still, why don't ya? Remember that? We don't need no education. Hey, you! Yes, you!
Nasty.
Stand still, why don't ya? I can't understand it. How they could have found it in the first place. How they couldn't got past the ghost girl and have come they left my bags behind. I just can't understand it. You should be holding this one of me now. Now, laddie, why I wouldn't even have asked y'all to come along with me in the first place if I was planning on double crossing you. You, well, am I thankful that we got out of there in their skins. Those natives were getting pretty fierce. This 2 bags should last us quite a while if we play out cards here. I'm not a greedy man by nature.
Quiet now.
Got it. I gotta get back to this. I gotta get back to that. Everybody's gotta get it back to something. Man, it is crazy out there. Probably hailing, lots of wind. It's a nutball out there. Big time rain, big time rain. I don't have a name for the mask. Perot, probably. And not Ross Perot, but Perot the clown. Hang on, I'm gonna go for sound. Oh my God. Kitty, you wanna go for a walk? We'll go for sound. Yep, it's hill. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Completely. I'm gonna do something real quick. What you doing? This thing can outlast the it's a charging station as well. So we're gonna go like this. Yeah, it can be a charging station. It can charge the phones and all kinds of stuff. It's brand new. It's 2024. Well, it's very close to 2025, but yeah, it was probably created in 2024. It's like a charging station. That turns green. You got yourself a charging station as well. It's a beautiful laptop. And we do have something processed right here. It wouldn't read it when it doesn't read it when you're nervous. I can tell when you're scared. Right, Nicholson? Let me see something. Nicholson watches my show. And then when they ask him, I don't watch Cole Spivey's show. They doesn't really have any talk. I need to get a biography on Nicholson. Yeah, I'll have one. Well, I'll have one. I got one on Brando. I'll have one on Hoffman. And I'll have one on Nicholson. Oh, shit. And I should get one on Gene Hackman. I just don't like the ending. I think it was murdered. I hope he wasn't. Because that dog died. Dogs just don't die like that. Even when they're sad, they don't. And dogs, listen, dogs eat dead people. It's been proven. Dogs will eat dead people. Hackman there was something, a demon killed him or something. There's no way that was a suicide. It doesn't make any sense at all. That was a murder. There we go. It was a murder for sure. I do thank you for watching. But we need to find out something real quick. Because that was scary. Hang on. There we go. We want to look at something real quick. Gene Hackman was one of the finest actors of our generation. And somebody, if maybe it was the devil, somebody killed him. Oh, it's still going? Yeah, it's still going. I got to cut out right here.